This video is empowered by GreenManGaming.com. Get your games here for the fraction of the cost there. As my brain explodes today, Joe Biden sees no legal problem with taxing violent video games. Now, of course, he attended this little rally with 19 other religious folks. And, of course, they discussed this situation where, hey, well, you know what, we should tax violent video games, and all the money towards those taxes go towards relief funds. Now, okay, Joe. Here's the thing, right? People pay enough taxes as it is, the cost of living has gone up, so people want to relieve their minds, they just want to go shoot a fucking bunny in the face with some simulation when it comes to a hunting video game, so therefore they want to within $60 range. Not pay an extra tax because you want some money in your pocket, because as far as I am concerned, while the source and idea on paper sounds okay, how the hell do you know the American people, how are they even going to see where this tax money is actually going? You can point out saying it's going towards here, 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 and here, but we won't actually know, will we? You'll just assumedly so put this money in some sort of fund where it's going to go into the pockets of politicians. So, again, I don't see the big, solution behind taxing violent video games. Now, while they say, hey, you know what, we don't want this violent imagery sent towards these children with these said violent video games, these violent video games themselves do not trigger any sort of violent behavior other than a 1% ratio. Out of how many percent, folks? 99%. This is a made-up figure, which, like every other said chart that anyone tries to put out and show you, will of course be valid. So, as you put up this chart, another one will be put up saying in its place saying you're wrong. So either which way, it doesn't really fucking matter. So if you really want to relieve these said funds, hey, you know what? If you have that extra, $15 in your pocket, or how much they're actually willing to tax this 6% into violent video games, then you know what? You should have these folks actually donate a 6% out of, $60, and ask them. Just ask anybody who don't even play violent video games on top of that and say, hey, you know what? This is a message from Vice President Joe Biden. I have an amazing chest. I wax it every single day. And you should donate towards this said fund right here. And as clear as day, we will point out where exactly the money is going towards these relief funds. That way those families who have been endured towards these tragedies can get some relief out of the situations that they had to endure with their families. But no, there was nothing like that. This suggestion, of course, is making me laugh my fucking head off. Now, of course, while the gamers are, of course, rallying up, they're angry, they're frustrated with this situation, and I don't blame them. I think that there's really no transparency behind this problem other than creating another one. Now, again, I can totally understand where Joe, this guy here, is trying to come from, but personally, every single consumer, every single electronic user uses their device for one sole reason. It isn't necessarily fully their lives, it's just something they want to take their minds away from life. So, it isn't like someone's trying to take a life from somebody else, they're trying to play something that of an emulated life in a video game. If it happens to have blood in it, so be it. That doesn't mean that you need to tax it. Now, again, I don't see where anybody would find this to be an effective means. Well, yes, as some people will say, oh, it's a good idea. Not really. I mean, if you really wanted to help those people out, you'd pull money out of your own pocket, Joe. I mean, there's a lot of politicians who are freaking startling rich. If they were to donate 6% of their income out of their own freaking pockets into these trust funds themselves, these relief funds themselves, guess what? All the problems in the world would be solved. But that wouldn't happen because as tight as the penny is in their pocket, it's just the hand inside of there who also pinches it. I'm not no supposed researcher behind anything when it comes to Democratic or Republican or anything else like that. I am not no fancy person who researches this kind of crap. I just look at the general sense of it all. If you really want to help people, go out and do it. You don't take it and make it something more complicated than the situation it already is. People are already paying $60 for a freaking video game. I'm sorry, $40 to $60 for a freaking new AAA title that happens to be a violent video game. If you want to resolve these folks, or you want to see how you can, where all the gun violence is coming from, how about this? Stricter gun control. Oh, I want my guns! That's right, your Colt 45 is sure going to save your ass against a big burrowing tank. Good job, Gus. Anyway, so I just sit there and I just laugh my freaking ass off at all the defensive people when it comes to stricter gun control. Now, again, if they want to find a solution, mental evaluations with each gun owner. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. And find people who donate them their time, such as, psychiatrists or anything else like that. Give them tax cuts. Give them tax cuts. There you go. There's an idea. You can take away some of the taxes from these doctors who can evaluate these gun folks and be able to do a good thing for a community around them by taking a whack away from the sidearm. Yes, people will be able to still get these guns and shoot other people, absolutely, but it's still a more effective means, and everyone's been saying it since the dawn of time. Unless you're psycho, wacko, and crazy yourself, and that's probably why you do not want to see anybody with this, oh, I don't want that, I just want my guns. What? My brain exploded again. I'm sorry. It's just such a double-edged sword at this, huh? So again, while I could see the problem being somewhat resolved per se to help these said folks, I still don't see the problem being solved in the long run. So what do you guys think of this situation? I'll provide a link to this said article of Joe sees no legal problem with taxing violent video games and the description down below. And as always, take it easy. Thank you guys so much for watching, and touch your nipples in a non-violent but yet violent way.